Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Who the Hell Asked. It's a special one for us. It's the Game Awards recap and discussion. Byron alongside Slade. Welcome.
Hello, everybody.
Yeah,
Slade here.
I have a mic that's not gonna go from loud to quiet now. But let's get started. Let's get started, Slade, with the Game Awards, which is I would say the most controversial Game Awards so far for a variety of reasons.
I would say, yeah. Not in terms of the games that won most of the awards. There are some controversies among those, but not as many as like years past. But more about the show itself.
Yeah, so let's get into a little bit of that real quick. So first off, shout outs to AK47 Rocks, a moderator for one of the biggest gaming subreddits on Reddit, r/games. He had a couple of notes because, they had a couple of notes because they were actually at the show. Apparently, and you probably noticed this while watching Slade, security was beefed up.
Yeah, they did want to have a situation where some little kid goes up on stage and says something about Bill Clinton.
Yeah,
like they did last year.
or so. I think it happened like at Gamescom this year. Someone just came up to the stage and just went, "Oh," or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, security was beefed up. Before the show, there were some SAG-AFTRA protesters protesting the layoffs. Obviously, we still haven't heard an update on the video game strike that SAG-AFTRA may or may not be authorizing. We haven't heard any updates about that. And then Meta hijacked some the outside area for Asgard's Wrath 2. So those were the notes from someone who was at the show. Besides the other big note, which speeches. Obviously, Christopher Judge last year, he went like 7 minutes or something on his speech. Very emotional speech. This year, they had "Please Wrap It Up" for people.
Yeah, which is honestly a real shame, especially considering they let people like celebrities would have come up there talk about why their legs in a cast or like other dumb shit for as long as they wanted, essentially. But the actual like developers winning the awards themselves were not necessarily cut off, but like could really get into what they wanted to say due to the time constraints.
Well, sometimes you had the music blaring right as they were like about to finish or whatever, and it's like, oh, come on, just. And even worse, I guess we're gonna say it right now. Congrats to Larian Studios. They won Game of the Year for Baldur's Gate 3. While they were giving their like 30-second like Game of the Year like speech for winning the award, they were dedicating the award to a deceased team member who had died recently. R.I.P. them. And they were getting the music blasting and the "Please Wrap It Up." I'm like, come the fuck on. That's gross.
It's very gross. So like in terms of being an award show, it was absolutely horrible. They did very little to actually honor the developers that were up there. Not just accepting the awards, but all the ones that were like nominated as well. Just video games in general. It kind of felt like a advertising / celebrity suck-off fest.
Well, it's always sort of been that to an extent, but I think like, this year, like, more people saw it as that than ever before.
Yeah, like, there is such a thing as too far. They went too far.
Yeah, but, like, to be fair, like, nobody watches the DICE Awards, and that's literally what most people who would want a Game Award show to be is. So,
well, I'm not saying I want the Game Awards to be, like, devoid of,
announcements,
advertising and announcements and stuff like that. I wholeheartedly believe that's the whole reason we tune in, if we're being strictly honest.
That's the reason why. That's why nobody tunes into the DICE Awards. Nothing against the DICE Awards.
Let's not pretend that like it isn't shitty for these developers to not have any moment in the spotlight.
Yeah.
Like if we're going to call this the new E3, like this is going to be where most of the biggest titles are announced and whatnot, then let's just get rid of the awards entirely and just make it a new like Gamescom or something.
I get.
Like if that's what it is, then we need to admit that's what it is and move forward with it.
Yeah, like I get like why they have it as the awards. It is nice for like the developers to get their moment in front of like hundreds of millions as opposed to like maybe tens of thousands at like something like the DICE Awards or BAFTA or whatever. So it's at least nice they're getting recognition in front of a bigger audience than they would otherwise. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting. Keeley has said as usual, like, hey, I'm gonna listen to the feedback and all that stuff on Twitter X. But will he? Who knows? Who knows if he actually will? Like, he is in a bit of a tough position because he's got so much to try to balance, but like you could balance it better. We didn't need another Muppets segment. We didn't. The Gonzo didn't even say anything funny that would have made it even remotely worth it. It was just some stupid sketch and whatever. There wasn't even a funny moment like Animal last year talking about Millennia from Elden Ring. That was at least kind of sort of funny. Didn't even have anything like that. But
that's what really gets me about the whole thing. Is just like it's like they're trying to seek validation from celebrities and shit like that. Like, see, guys, gaming's a big deal. It's real art.
Yeah, even though gaming is like, I think it makes more money than like a lot of other industries like TV and movies. So like,
it absolutely does. So like,
and it's
I don't know.
It's fine to have the occasional celebrity there if they're there to promote a game like they're making or they're starring in. That's fine. Or like a video game movie. Like we saw that with the Adaptation Award. They had the people for the Fallout movie. That's fine. That's fine. They got to the point.
I blame Keanu Reeves in that E3 for why shit like this is happening.
Look, he starred in the game. He did voice work for the game. He was promoting a game. Like, I think that's fine. But
I think that being as successful as it was, it's making every other game developer think we have to go after a celebrity.
Yeah, but let's get to the announcements and the awards, because there was the pre-show, and we got a couple of very interesting announcements at the pre-show. One of them being Brother: A Tale of Two Sons remake, which is interesting. For those who don't know, this was Josef Fares' first game. Now, this is not a Hazelight Studios game, but I believe maybe he helped a little bit with this remake, but probably not too much. But yeah, this Josef Fares' first game is being remade. So that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to be involved a little bit too.
Yeah.
Maybe to flesh some things out with like the story and whatnot, but probably not too much more than that. So we still don't know what Hazelight Studios' actual next project is.
Yeah. Hopefully we find out in 2024. And the other probably shocker announcement of the pre-show, World of Goo 2.
Yeah, that came out of left field, which was pretty crazy.
That's a series I haven't heard about in a long time.
Yeah.
Oh, World of Goo. God, the fact it's getting a sequel.
We were shocked is an understatement, honestly.
Yeah, absolutely. But now let's get into some of the bigger announcements. Guess what, Slade? The No Man's Sky devs, Hello Games, are back with something new.
Yep, and there's already a lot of concern surrounding the initial announcement because somebody pointed back, I think on Twitter, the initial announcement of No Man's Sky, the words used like the promises and whatnot, and it's very eerily similar to what they're saying now about this new project.
Yeah.
Hopefully, they took away a lot of lessons from the initial release of No Man's Sky.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't sound. You can't really discern anything from the trailer they used itself.
Yeah.
Other than the fact that, sure, it looks kind of pretty, but that's about it. But you could say that about almost every game that they announced that was mostly cinematic in nature.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. They trolled Final Fantasy fans at this event. They showed Final Fantasy VII Rebirth again. That's coming out literally, I think, end of next month, I think.
I believe so.
Yeah.
And when they announced that trailer, they initially stated that it was for an unannounced new project.
Which bullshit. That final. We've known about Rebirth for what, a year now? A year plus?
Oh, more than that.
Yeah.
More than that. Final Fantasy Remake Part 2
Yeah.
was announced the same year as Final Fantasy VII Remake came out. We just knew it was in development.
Yeah. But the biggest
So, like,
the biggest troll thing, Slade. Apex Legends collab.
yeah, so they're putting the Buster Sword and some other Final Fantasy weapons in Apex Legends, and I'm like,
Oh,
who asked for this?
money asked for this.
Like,
Oh,
actually,
God.
who the hell asked?
Yeah, who the hell asked? But there is some good news for Final Fantasy fans. Final Fantasy 16 is getting some DLC. Echoes of the Fallen and the Rising Tide. Echoes of the Fallen, it's out now. You can get it. The Rising Tide will be coming in spring. Cool for Final Fantasy 16. To get some DLC. But yeah. So Slade, we actually saw it. This game is actually coming out. It's Skull and Bones.
Yeah.
Oh, this game's coming out. It's coming out the day before my birthday. I don't like it here. I don't like it here, but yeah. We've covered this game at least a couple of times. The insane issues that this game has had
it's been in development hell for God knows how long. Honestly, I forgot the game existed.
Yeah, like, and if you don't know, I think it's the Singapore government. It's like, yeah, you better fucking release this thing, or we're coming after your ass. Because they got some government grants for that game. They're going.
What a wild story.
What a wild story. You know what? Speaking of wild, there was one company that went kind of wild. Sega, dude.
Yeah, holy shit. Probably, honestly, the biggest bombshell announcement,
Absolutely.
in my opinion. I know Monster Hunter probably has a little bit to say about that.
Yeah, and we'll get to
Sega
that.
announced 6 new video game titles for 6 pretty much dead franchises.
They
out of nowhere.
They announced, Jet Set Radio, Shinobi, Golden Axe, Streets of Rage, Crazy Taxi, and more. And more, Slade.
All in development.
All in development, yeah. I guess that Sonic Frontiers and Superstars money really is helping now. God. And we saw little snippets of gameplay of all 5. The fact that we saw snippets of gameplay is crazy. I really love
I think those were gameplay of the actual older titles that they released. I don't think that was new gameplay.
No, those looked like the new games.
I know Jet Set Radio was not new gameplay.
No. But my God, like, Sega, don't fuck it up. Please. Please. I know people compare you to Nintendo for the amount of IP you hoard, but please, this is your chance. Don't fuck it up.
Yeah, that was actually probably the craziest announcement of like the entire presentation.
Absolutely.
Another one I'm personally excited for, Visions of Mana, new Mana game.
Yeah, we have a brand new I was shocked by this, to be honest. I didn't think there would be another Mana game, but
I mean, they've been remastering and re-releasing a lot of the older titles as of late.
Yeah.
So it kind of makes some sense. I just didn't think here would be where they would announce that. I thought that'd be something at like a Nintendo Direct or a Square Enix presentation or something.
Well, the funny thing, you say Nintendo. First off, Nintendo had nothing.
Yeah, absolutely.
They didn't even have a Nintendo Switch has games moment. But yeah, Visions of Mana, it's coming out in 2024, which so many 2024 games, by the way, in this. Like,
yeah.
Oh my God. 24 is looking to go a little bit crazy, but speaking of things going crazy, fucking Fortnite, dude.
Yeah, so this
Fortnite.
was announced long before the Game Awards in Fortnite itself.
Mm-hmm.
They added a new Lego mode that allows you to basically play Minecraft and Fortnite, which I played a little bit of it. It's okay.
Yeah,
It's not my cup of tea.
They added Lego mode. They also showed off at the Game Awards the Rocket Racing mode, which is made by Psyonix, the same developers of Rocket League. So that's out. That's out now. I think you've also played this.
Yep,
Slade?
and I think that is also okay. I think I would have preferred they made a separate game for it instead of just a throwaway game mode in Fortnite. But what do I know?
I agree. But yeah, and then of course there's going to be Lego Festival, which is made by Harmonix. So it's basically Fortnite Rock Band. Oh my god, dude. What the fuck is going on with Fortnite?
Whatever the drugs that they're on dictates.
Oh, okay. Speaking of drugs, we have OD. We have the Kojima game. And yeah, Kojima got his usual Keeley big presentation, which took up like 10 minutes, which the trailer was fucking horrifying. Because they had two zoom-ins of an adult woman and like an old man. And it's like, Kojima, are you sure you're not ODing? Like, I know you're getting older, but like, what is this? Apparently, it's supposed to be some groundbreaking, game-changing, interactive movie game thing or whatever. And apparently, Jordan Peele will also be collaborating on this with Mr. Kojima. But what was your reaction to this? Like,
yeah, just classic Kojima acid trip. Basically the best way I could put it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like I don't know what the fuck I'm watching, but I guess we'll find out.
Yeah. Speaking of games that kind of felt like an acid trip, you remember Untitled Goose Game?
Yeah, those developers have another game coming out, which
yeah,
kind of bizarre.
Yeah, it's called Big Walk by House, and the characters, they kind of look like the Cataquacks from like Mario Sunshine a little bit.
Yeah. That's it. I think you pointed that out during the call when we were watching it.
Yeah, and it's like, huh?
Pretty wild.
Like, hey, people loved Untitled Goose Game. That was pretty fun. This looks to be like a co-op, some type of exploration game, whatever.
Yeah, and like, I don't know. It seems like it have a really interesting premise. So we'll definitely keep an eye on that as that comes out.
Yeah.
Speaking of things coming out, which I thought was actually pretty crazy.
Mm-hmm.
God of War Ragnarok shadow dropped Valhalla.
That's right, yeah, Valhalla, which is a roguelite mode, which Sony seemed to love to add to a lot of their games lately. That's coming to The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered. I think that in that game it's called No Return. Here it's Valhalla. It's going to be on PS4, PS5, and it's coming out in like 3 days for free. For free. Which
to me is actually insane.
Yeah.
Because like you don't really see that with too many modern successful video games, free LC for them. So yeah, honestly, pretty nuts, and good for God of War fans getting free additional content.
Yeah, fun little roguelite mode to level up and stuff. Speaking of crazy things, we actually saw it. We actually saw Dragon Ball Budokai Tenkaichi 4, now aka just Dragon Ball Sparking Zero.
Yep, Sparking Zero.
Wow. Definitely did not expect this at the Game Awards tonight.
Yeah, I know a lot of people are excited for this game because it's the return of Budokai Tenkaichi, and they also have a lot of the old developers of the Tenkaichi games on hand for it, which wasn't previously announced.
Yeah.
Which would lead me to believe that the game's probably going to have a ginormous fucking roster, which I think has everybody excited.
My God, how big do you think the roster gets? Like,
well, I think Tenkaichi 3 had like a roster of over 100 characters.
My God. Yeah.
Like, we could probably see north of 200.
Oh my God. It'd be the biggest modern day fighting game roster since Smash Ultimate. And that's a big ass roster.
Yeah.
God, what? Smash Ultimate is like 90 characters or something crazy like that?
It's close to 90. It's short of 90. I know that much.
Yeah. Something crazy like that. You mentioned
pretty insane.
You mentioned this earlier. Monster Hunter. We're getting a new Monster Hunter game. It's Monster Hunter Wilds. And
Probably the biggest announcement itself.
yeah, Capcom had said, hey, we have a big unannounced game coming out in 2024 that we're announcing by the end of the year. This fucker ain't coming out in 2024. This is coming out in 2025. By the way.
Yeah, so they lied to their shareholders, which is fascinating.
Unless they have something else they're gonna announce, but I doubt it. So, but yeah, new Monster Hunter. It's always cool to get one of those. We don't get those very often, I don't think.
No, this will be the first Monster Hunter since Monster Hunter Rise.
Yeah.
Not including the mobile game, because I don't ever count those.
Oh yeah, fuck. We saw so much of Monster Hunter now.
Yeah.
As one of the, like, mobile game ads or whatever, and I'm like, bro, Niantic, stop. Please. People are mad at you for all the shit with Pokemon Go. Pikmin bloomed to death. But yeah, new big Monster Hunter game is exciting. You wonder what else might be exciting for people? Marvel Blade. That's right. We're getting a Marvel Blade game from Arcane Leon, which is going to be interesting. A different Marvel hero that I don't think is that well used at least in the Marvel Cinematic Universe these days, which is interesting. Considering, we're getting Wolverine, we've gotten Spider-Man, now we're getting Blade. So that's pretty interesting, I'd say, Slade, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Speaking of interesting, because I think this is probably one of the largest announcements of this show that seems to be flying under the radar.
Mm-hmm.
We got an announcement for a game called Black Myth Wukong, which is based on one of the most popular Eastern pieces of media of all time.
Yeah,
which is insane.
Yeah, Journey to the West. Yeah, which I think Dragon Ball is based off of that as well.
Inspired by. Yeah,
inspired.
In fact, lots of Eastern characters are inspired off of Journey to the West.
Yeah, game looks pretty cool. I think I know there were a couple games that kind of looked like a Souls game. I don't know if this was one of them.
Yeah, a lot of people are actually comparing it to Sekiro.
Yes,
a bit
Sekiro.
More.
Yeah.
But no, to me it's just like it's absolutely insane because it looks really good.
Yeah.
Like it looks very pretty. This could be a really good game, but it could be interesting to see a game adaptation of Journey to the West.
Yeah, and it's coming out relatively soon, August 20th, 2024. Another big 2024 release. And another very interesting game was Tales of Kenzera Zao, coming out in April of 2024, and it looks like a Metroidvania game, which is pretty interesting.
Yeah, which that's what I'm looking forward to as a resident Metroidvania player. I love those types of games.
Yeah, it's a game that captures grief. Apparently, this will be the debut game for Surgent Studios, which is founded by Abu Bakr Salim, who was the voice of Bayek in Assassin's Creed Origins. So that's yeah. He had a pretty emotional speech on the stage, which was kind of cool to hear him like, "Hey, this game, I'm making this game for my father who I think either passed away or is very sick." So this was pretty cool to hear about, and it looks like a good game too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very unique. Very unique art style too. Very unique. But yeah, I think that was all of the major announcements at the Game Awards.
Yeah, I mean, we missed some like smaller ones and whatnot that we could cover, but we're gonna go ahead and talk about what the show should be about. The awards and the developers themselves.
Yeah, so we already mentioned earlier, Baldur's Gate 3 won Game of the Year, as I think everybody expected at this point.
Yeah, I think it was pretty highly expected. I mean, you had articles saying that Baldur's Gate 3 ruined video gaming for developers everywhere just because it's a complete product.
Yeah.
In 2023. Like, I couldn't believe what the fuck I was reading. It was horrible.
Yeah, Baldur's Gate 3 also won Best Community Support, and it also won for Best RPG, Best Multiplayer Game, which I didn't know Baldur's Gate 3 had multiplayer.
Again,
be honest.
Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, fair. And then Baldur's Gate 3 also won Player's Voice, which, cool. I was kind of half expecting Genshin to win, so, they could get their primo gems.
Yeah, I'm glad to know that an actual game won it.
Yeah. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth was the most anticipated game. Yeah. Makes sense. Makes sense out of that group. Obviously, next year, most anticipated game will go to GTA 6.
Yeah. I personally thought we were going to see Hades 2 win that, because I thought, the first Hades game was so successful that the anticipation for the second would be, huge.
Yeah.
But, I'm also a Final Fantasy VII fan, so I'm glad to see that people are still looking forward to that.
Yep. Last of Us won the Best Adaptation category, which I was a little bit shocked at that it won over Mario, but again, also The Last of Us HBO, I've heard nothing but praise for that series.
Yeah, no, the show series, from everyone that I've heard watched it, they really enjoyed it. But I did think they were going to take the award away from, the only successful piece of Mario media outside of video games.
Yeah.
To me, I thought that was just stunning.
Yeah. Speaking of Mario Wonder did win Best Family Game. I guess as
to be expected.
R.I.P. the Party Animal sweep. Forza Motorsport won not only Best Sports and Racing Game, but it also won the Innovation in Accessibility Award, which is cool. Pikmin 4 won Best Sim Strategy Game.
Yep, a category it probably didn't belong in to begin with, but I think that was because they had to shoehorn it into something.
Yeah.
And then, to be fair, this was a very weak year for strategy and sim games anyway. I mean, when you have Fire Emblem Engage also on that list, that's all you need to know how horrible the year was for the category. So,
damn.
I guess, at the very least, a good video game won.
Damn. Was Engage really that bad? Shit.
Yes. Yes, it was.
Shit. Street Fighter 6 to... Well, some people surprised, because it was either that or Mortal Kombat 1, but Street Fighter 6 won Best Fighting Game at the Game Awards.
Yeah, it was a two-horse race, but I felt like Street Fighter 6 was the favorite.
Yep.
I think we both predicted that.
Yep. Armored Core 6 won for Best Action Game at the Game Awards. Tears of the Kingdom winning its only award for the night, winning Best Action Adventure Game.
Yep.
Resident Evil Village won Best VR AR Game. Honkai Star Rail won Best Mobile Game. Cyberpunk 2077 won Best Ongoing Game, which I was a little shocked.
Yeah,
by that.
Another game that probably didn't deserve to be in the category, because really, that's more of a community support kind of thing where you're fixing your game with DLC. Because that's essentially what happened. Is the latest expansion for Cyberpunk 2077 essentially saved the game.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. Phantom. Well, I that and the anime that came out.
Yeah. Otherwise, that game was very dead in the water from its disastrous release.
Yeah. Best debut indie game went to Cocoon. So cool for that game. Sea of Stars won Best Indie Game at the Game Awards.
The actual Best Indie Game. Thank you. Thank you. I love it when games get properly represented as they should be.
Yeah. Chia won the Games for Impact Award. Neil Newborn as Astraeon won Best Performance. Hi-Fi Rush won Best Audio Design, which, makes sense. I think at least if I didn't predict it, I think we both did, because, Hi-Fi Rush is a game...
I mean, that's a category that it's straight up. The game's literally made for the category.
Yeah.
You can't have it not win the category. It would have been some serious bull jive if it didn't.
Yeah.
But in what I would call somewhat of an upset, it did not win Best Score in Music. That honor went to Final Fantasy 16, which, to be fair, also has very fantastic music.
Yeah. And then Alan Wake 2 picked up a couple of awards besides the it won best art direction, best narrative, and best game direction.
Yeah, which I do agree that it should have won 2 out of 3 of those categories. I do think best narrative is a bit of a reach considering you have a D&D game literally right there. But we have a logical thought process behind that. We'll talk about that a bit more when we discuss the actual game of the year.
And then, of course, Baldur's Gate 3, game of the year, to nobody's surprise.
So we've seen in previous awards shows, and I guess this one kind of also validates the thought process as well. Typically, when a game is up for Game of the Year, what they do is when they pick the Game of the Year award winner, they pick other games for the other categories for the most part. So that it feels like every game kind of gets something to walk away with, so no developer feels like super slighted or anything like that. We saw in this case scenario where it felt like Alan Wake 2, for the most part, won the majority of the awards it was up for, even with Baldur's Gate 3 in the same category. But Baldur's Gate 3 ended up being the Game of the Year winner overall.
Yeah.
So
fun fact: Baldur's Gate 3 did win the most awards with 6 awards out of the 9 that it got nominated for, which is crazy.
Yeah, I mean, Baldur's Gate 3 is actually like insane. So like, good for them.
Yeah.
Good for them.
Yeah, it literally was like, oh fuck, we have to. It made some developers go, oh fuck, we have to make good games, not filled with microtransactions or bullshit.
Right, single player and multiplayer too. So it's like, man.
But yeah, that was the Game Awards. It was filled with controversy. It was filled with fun announcements. Jeff, give people more fucking time, please, to give their speeches, please.
Let's address the issue, because I think the only reason you and I and pretty much everybody watches these is for the game announcements themselves, right? Yeah. We're trying to see if something important is going to be announced that we're going to want to play or something like that.
Yeah.
Or something that's incredibly excited or anticipated gets dropped. Like, that's the main reason anybody watches these shows.
Yeah.
So we understand that these shows are not for the developers who make, video games or have these games that are incredible up for all these awards.
Well,
we understand that.
Well, it's part of what it's for, but obviously the majority and where Keighley is able to get the money to do all this is from not only the stupid like Samsung Hub or Game Pass or fucking Clash of Clan ads, but also the big announcements that developers pay to get hundreds of millions of eyeballs on.
Yeah. So Byron and I understand this.
Yeah.
That being said, I think with the please wrap it up signs, the music cutting in, like, there is such a thing as taking it too far. And they overstepped that.
Yeah,
and then some.
Christopher Judge even made like a joke when I think he was presenting, best voice or best performance, I think. And he made first off, he made a joke about his speech being longer than the Call of Duty campaign.
Yeah, which is hilarious.
It's hilarious, but also like some of the developers on Twitter X were kind of pissed off at Judge's joke, and like to an extent I get it, because like it's not the developers' fault that they were only given like I think 16 months to make the entirety of Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3.
Yeah, but I mean, like, when you release a product like that, and it's as crappy and unfinished as it is, you're going to have to accept the fact that you're going to be the butt of all the jokes. Like, and I get it. The developers for Active Blizzard, they don't deserve any of the shade thrown at them, because ultimately it was all about the terrible leadership that they were working on.
Yeah,
right?
Bobby Kotick.
Yeah, Bobby Kotick. So, like, we get it. We understand.
Yeah, but also, some of the developers' responses weren't great. They were like, "Oh, there's more player engagement for Call of Duty compared to God of War." I'm like, God of War is a single-player game, bro. Yeah. It's a single-player game. That's like comparing apples to bananas or oranges to grapes. It doesn't. Yeah, apples to orange, whatever. It don't fucking work. That's the point. That comparison just does not work. So shame on the developers making that comparison. Just
Yeah,
don't.
not only that, shame on them for even trying to compare Call of Duty to God of War, just in general.
Yeah.
Like, God of War doesn't deserve that comparison.
No,
Like,
and
you're talking about a game that reaches critical acclaim pretty much every single time it comes out. They are well polished and developed games. They never copy and paste or reuse any of the fucking assets or like the same formula. Like, no, that's incredibly insulting that they would even try to make that argument. Like, I'm actually more insulted for Santa Monica Studios than anybody should ever be for Activision.
like, don't be mean to the developers. Be mean to management.
Yeah, absolutely.
It is the lesson if they deserve it. So, but yeah, just Keely, like, I know you got to try to balance it, and I get it. It could be a tough task, but like, come on, like, don't blare music to cut people off. Like, come on, give them, I don't know, a minute, minute and a half, 2 minutes. You could find time to save.
Yeah.
You could,
or better yet, just put out a memo, make the memo public. Every award winner gets 3 minutes.
Yeah, just give them, like, not everybody is going to use all the time, of course, naturally.
Yeah, when they walk up on stage, put a clock on screen.
Okay.
Maybe not like for us to see, but for the people giving the speech to see.
Yeah, but
that way, like, it's not an obnoxious amount of time, like 30 seconds
yeah,
or less than a minute like they got.
30 seconds, less than a minute. That's absolutely
I think 3
ludicrous.
minutes is fair.
3
minutes is fair.
3 minutes max. Yeah, 3 minutes max.
Yeah.
Some people are like conspiracially speculating, oh, maybe it's because they don't want people to talk about the layoffs and any other world events and stuff, which, like, I guess I get that to an extent.
That's what I'm thinking. Trust the layoffs too. Don't be cowards.
But, like, obviously that was never going to be addressed at an event like this. So, what can you really?
It's a shame that it isn't, but yeah, you're right.
Yeah. What are you gonna do about it? I guess, but yeah, just Keely, like, cut the Muppets. Nothing against the Muppets. The Muppets are cool. The Muppets are great. They're funny. Just they don't fit here at the Game Awards. You can cut out a few of the celebrity appearances, or if they're gonna be there, be like, hey, I'm here to present an award, or like, hell, I was even fine with the integration with the Fallout TV show. Like, hey, here's a game-related thing, and we're gonna nominate, and here's the best adaptation. Like, I'm cool with stuff like that. If you can,
or at least if the celebrity's involved with the game in some way, shape, or form, then sure.
Yeah, like, that's fine. But and also maybe if Kojima, if you're gonna have Kojima have something, maybe have it have more substance, please.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess it would be a Game Award show if we did get some acid trip from Kojima-san.
Fair enough, but
it's whatever. I'm willing to take that. It's okay.
There are places you could cut time to give at least a minute and a half to people. Just let the people have a few minutes if they want to thank people, to, like, if a team member died, let them dedicate the award to it, blah blah blah. Like, give more time for, like, people who don't speak English, because there are a couple times there are some translators up there. Like, give people time.
And not only that, give everybody a chance. This is something that really irritated me as well. Because they cycled through some of the awards, like, really fast. Like, I think there's like 6 in a row at one point.
They always do the shotgun. They shouldn't.
Indie game of the year.
Yeah.
And I feel like that is one of the few categories where that team needs to be able to go on stage and speak their thoughts.
Yeah, like, typically I think Reggie either, like, would do, like, Reggie would come on stage and he'd be the one for, like, either, like, best indie game or, like, games for impact, or one of those two. But he didn't do that.
Crazy. I would have loved to hear a few words from Sabotage Studio, developers of Sea of Stars.
Yeah, if they won the award, they deserve the time to get up there, say a few words. And I think maybe something that would help the Game Awards, maybe Keely and friends shouldn't know who wins, because I think that's how they do it at the Oscars. The people producing the Oscars don't know who win what awards, so
yeah,
maybe that would also help. Like, yeah, if somebody wins multiple awards, just let them be up there multiple times. Or maybe they have so many people, let different people up there if they're from the same studio, you know?
Yeah.
Maybe Keeley will fix some of the stuff he's tweeted. Yeah, I'll fix it. We'll see.
We'll see. We'll see.
We'll see, but can't wait to talk about this again next year. Same fucking issues. Oh, Lord. But that's going to be it for our recap and discussion of the 2024 Game Awards. And we're going to have a couple more episodes to wrap up the year, our predictions on the year. We do that. Obviously, our big best and worst games we played this year. That one's always going to be a fun one for us to do. But yeah, stay tuned to the channel in the month of December for some great look backs at the year and some looking forward to seeing what the hell is going to happen and what will probably be not as crazy for game releases, but another insane year for gaming. So, this has been Byron.
And this has been Slade.
And hope you all have a good day, good night, and goodbye.